fans, and welcome to another episode of Albert Square After Dark, your weekly EastEnders podcast. This week, discussing the episode broadcast between the 5th to the 8th/9th of February 2024. The reason that I hesitate is because, obviously, iPlayer behaved as normal this week, and the football threw the TV schedules into chaos. You think we had problems? You should see how Coronation Street is having to deal with stuff at the moment. Oh, they bet it's barely been on this week, and then it's on about 400 times next week. God knows how that's going to play out for the Conversation Street and Talk of the Street podcast. Good luck to them, I say. Joining me as usual is Ree. Hello, Ree. How are you?
Hiya, Rob. I'm all right. How are you?
I'm not too bad. So you dealt with the schedule upheaval, all right then? Because we've all right, I think. But yeah, Coronation Street's all over the place.
Well, it threw me off a bit actually when I'm trying to
Yes.
post stuff on Instagram. So sorry if you follow us on Instagram and wondered why it's a bit.
Sorry if you
I
follow
don't
us on
want to
Instagram.
post anything. Yeah, and full stop.
General apologies.
Do you know what though? As well, because it got uploaded on iPlayer on Tuesday for Wednesday's episode.
Yeah,
I thought that it was. I got all my dates mixed up for the week.
it's confusing, wasn't
Because
it?
I'd see the only time I'd seen date written down when I watched EastEnders. So then all day I thought it was that date. Sorry,
Is that your way of finding out what the date is every single day, just by what day it is on EastEnders?
Apparently so.
Yeah, there you go.
It quite interfered with my week. So
there we are then. So amongst all that, I think we had a pretty good week. There was lots busy old week actually. Lots
very
going
busy
on.
week. Yeah,
Intriguing in places, and of course, we finished the week with a big old return/recast. So we should talk about the arrival of Johnny. Very, very excited about that. See what he brings to the square and what Charlie Suff brings to the role. I hope it's Suff. Never a good thing if you start off.
Surf.
It's spelled SUFF. So Suff.
Oh, is it? Right.
I would have said
Suff.
Surf. I would have said. Well, yeah, but to be fair, that's just your accent, isn't it?
Suff. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is, right?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Right, so
Suff.
let's crack on Suff. Yeah, let's say Suff. If it's wrong, someone let us know.
Suff.
Suff up.
So southern, Rob.
I know, that's me all over. Right, so let's crack on talking about this week's EastEnders, shall we, Ree?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. So, we should begin this week with talking about George, Eddie, and eventually Cindy. Now, Eddie returns this week. I have to say, this story is really, really, really intriguing me. In fact, I'd say it's the story of the week for me. I love all this. I'm really intrigued by it. I think it helps for a start that Eddie is played by a bloody good actor. Like, he is really, really nailing this role, I think.
I hate Eddie.
Well, yeah,
and I think that's credit to the actor.
Absolutely,
he's doing it. He's brought such a darkness to him, hasn't he?
There's a real sinister side to him.
Yes, sinister, that's the word.
And yes, it feels multifaceted at the same time. It doesn't feel like completely cut and dry. Like when he last turned up, we kind of assumed, all right, okay, so Eddie's just like a big old racist. Okay, we get that. And yet this week, I kind of thought that there was a lot more to it than that. So he turns up, and for a start, let's talk about it.
Yeah, because I didn't.
I did, yeah. I mean, okay. So he turns up, and he has apparently received an award for helping, and I quote, the little diverse kids, which, again, straight off the bat, you kind of think, right, yes, you're an old racist, all right, and Gina's rackles are up automatically, understandably, and George's aren't. So he kind of asks to kind of have a tour of the square, and George takes him to the boxing den because obviously the history of boxing has come from Eddie and been passed down to George. And then Eddie clocks Denzel training away, and he's like, "I want to help him. I want to get in the ring and train him and help train him up." And he says something really interesting to Denzel, and I've written it down because it really intrigued me. He says, for boys like you, now pause there, you automatically think, all right, okay, so this is clearly a race thing, and he's only got in the den to either hurt Denzel or just humiliate him. But then he says, it ain't about punching, it's about surviving, it's about taking all the crap thrown your way and surviving. That to me, I don't know whether that, because it seems, apart from that first sentence, where obviously he is verbalizing the differences between the two of them, but then he was also really helping Denzel and saying, yeah, that's it, you're good, you are. Yeah, that's good. So it felt like there was more to it rather than just pure and utter racism thing, because otherwise he'd have been smacking him and trying to hit him and humiliating him. You know what I mean? So I was kind of confused.
And see, I would interpret that as I'll make it my mission then to punch you and punch you and punch you. I know that he wasn't punching him,
No,
but
exactly.
But I would yeah, but maybe in the past he has, and it's come on then, show me what you're made of. But really, it's I don't know. I
This
don't
is what I mean.
interpret
You
that
don't
as a
know.
positive still.
No, I don't know about a
Mm,
positive. There was clearly like
yeah.
another level to it that we don't really understand yet, and we are set to understand it next week. It would transpire because there is a special extended, by which when we say extended, we mean 4 extra minutes on an episode next week.
Means
Um,
they couldn't edit some of it
you
out,
reckon they just
so
couldn't edit
we're
out?
going
And
to
we'll
dress
call
it
it
up as an
extended. We'll
extended
call it
episode.
extended.
Yeah,
um, episode written by Lauren Clee, who is,
yeah. Ooh,
yes, we like
yeah.
Lauren Clee, we like Ron Clee's script.
Mm.
To address all this, and we've had like promo pictures released of Gloria and Eddie and George. So this is all we're all going to find out exactly what kind of happened with George and whatever secrets that Eddie and Gloria are holding from George next week, which I'm very, very excited about.
Mm. Do you know what I'm now thinking when you just mentioned the whole Denzel thing? Like,
Mm.
I don't know what the word would be. Would it be? I'm in my head. I'm like, was Eddie some kind? Did he like groom these kids, but grooming them into being
Who
boxers,
knows? I
and
don't.
then
Yeah,
using that to his? Do you know what I mean?
don't get me
Like,
wrong.
is
I'm
that
not
something that
saying.
he goes to do?
Yeah, I mean, please don't get me wrong. I'm not looking at Eddie and thinking, "Oh, I was wrong about him. He's perfectly all
Aren't you,
right."
Rob?
No, I'm
Aren't
not.
you?
No, I'm not. But it just seemed that there was a lot more to it
Yeah.
rather than him just because, like I said, if he was just a pure and utter racist, I would have expected him to climb into the boxing ring and just like gone all in on Denzel and started trying to humiliate him and really throw him. But he seemed to be wanting to help him grow as
Nah,
a
that's because
boxer.
he's clever and he's trying to hide his. Nah, I disagree with that one. There, I think.
I don't know. I'm
No,
confused.
I still think he's just a
I'm not saying he isn't
horrible
a
old
racist. Don't get me wrong.
racist.
I'm not saying he isn't a horrible old racist whatsoever. But it just seemed that there was more to it than just that. So I don't know.
You know, it just strikes me as one of those who's like, I can't be racist.
I
My
help
adopted
people.
kid's
Yeah,
black. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
my
yeah,
best
yeah,
mate's black. I can't be. It seems like one of
yeah.
them. Sorry, it's not remotely Yorkshire, but that's the only kind of old man impression I can do apparently.
It's the only impression you could do at all with your accent.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
It kind of is with it all.
Okay.
I don't know.
I just think it's very interesting, and I really am looking forward to next week because there's a lot thrown into this. It feels like this is going to be a long runner throughout the year.
Mm.
Also worth mentioning, he found himself smack bang in the middle of the regular credits next week as this week as well. He wasn't on the end.
Oh,
He wasn't on the end with the guest stuff. He's there with Pastor Clayton, who that man,
I
that
won't get
man.
onto
He's had
that.
he's had pro. Oh, we'll talk about Pastor Clayton later. That man is set to commit an atrocity. Let me tell you.
No,
So.
I'm glad that you see it now, Rob.
Oh, yeah, there's something
Yeah, I was
very, very,
saying to you from
very,
the start, you were a bit.
very, very suspicious about the old pastor. Let me tell you.
Can I just mention something else to do with the whole Eddie
Yes.
George thing? Did you notice Gina straight on it? Like, he's a
Mm.
bad guy. I know
No,
it.
yeah,
I'm a little bit annoyed that the whole Dean and Gina thing ever happened, if I'm quite honest, because it
yeah.
seems so out of character now
She's now back to
that,
sort of the Gina that we know, like
yeah,
who's
that
on the
knows a wrong and
ball.
a mile
Who,
off.
yeah,
And
exactly. Yeah, 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 yeah.
what was
That
the
whole
whole
thing.
Dean thing about?
You kind of wonder what the point of it was as well, because she sort of started dating him and then wasn't dating him and realized how wrong she got it within the space of a week. So it was kind of like, what was the point of that, other than to sort of wind Linda up a little bit more?
Because I was thinking like, oh, was it just for Christmas so that we'd think that it were
Yeah.
something to do with Dean being killed? She wasn't even going out with him then, was she? She
No.
was just kind of starting to grow a little bit closer to him.
Mm,
So why
yeah.
did they go out at all?
I
It just
don't
seems
know.
so out of character, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it was weird.
Mm.
Don't know. We'll have to wait and see because again, Dean didn't actually feature this week, but he's still like hanging around the square and is living quite a fairly normal life. And now Jade's arrived, so I don't know what the plan is with Dean at all. I'm
What?
very
Yeah.
confused.
Why is he still here? Like,
Who knows?
no offense to the actor or anything, but
No.
like, you know,
Why?
like what? What?
What's the plan
Why?
for the
But
character?
what
Yeah,
is yeah, but what is
yeah,
there for him really?
no idea.
Just
No
gonna
idea.
be forever taunting Linda from afar? Well, not
Which he
that
can't,
far.
which isn't sustainable for months and months and
No.
months. And it's not like Linda's ever going to turn around and say, "Oh, do you know what? All right, fine, I get
Yeah.
on with you. Let's be mates." That's never going to happen and never should happen. So
No.
I don't know. Meanwhile, then Cindy's hackles are also up
Yes.
around Eddie, and this sort of causes a bit of a row between her and George because George, I have to say, half quite rightly, does turn around to Cindy and say, "You are in
Right.
no position to criticize anybody's parenting, seeing as though you have abandoned literally every single one of your
Every single
children,
one.
and one of them doesn't even know you're alive. So shut your face." So there is a sort of a bit of a point there, but that upsets Cindy. So she then decides that she needs to find Cindy Junior. So packs a bag and is off at the end of the week. They can't do all that off screen, surely.
I think they are.
They can't. Surely to God,
I
it's bad
agree. It'd be
enough.
great to see it, but
I
how
can't. I
else?
struggle with that, and it's bad enough. I think that we never actually got much. I thought when they brought Cindy back and they were doing like flashbacks and all that kind of thing, we were going to get some form of flashback about how Cindy and Ian came back into each other's lives, and we never got that in the end.
No,
So
we've not actually. We still
no,
don't know
we
what's
still don't
happened.
really
How
know
do?
how those two got
No,
back, how ended up back together again. We just
that
accepted
is
that they
such a
did. So
that's
I
such a
feel
good
like
point.
they can't do that off screen with Cindy Junior. Surely, because we know Cindy Junior. It's not like this is a character that we've not met. We've met Cindy Junior and spent time
Well,
with Cindy Junior. So we need to see her reaction to that. Surely,
isn't the actress who plays her in that big
not anymore. She's finished.
Netflix show?
Finished.
Oh,
So she's free.
Sex Education. I don't watch it,
Education.
but
Yeah, yeah, that's finished
yeah,
now. So she's free.
yeah. But or recast. We could have a recast of Cindy Junior. I don't think
Yeah.
any is a bit. I mean, we've had Johnny recast how many times, you know?
We're on Johnny the Third
Anyway,
now. Yeah,
yeah, Johnny the Third,
yeah.
exactly.
So I don't know. I can't. I would. I don't want that to happen off screen. That seems really, really odd.
The thing is, they can't take us on location. Isn't Cindy Junior in Germany, right? With
Yes.
Liam's,
With with yeah,
Liam's
I think
baby.
yeah, 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 yeah. I think so.
Liam's
Yes,
baby.
yes, 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 yes,
So
yes.
Cindy's got a grandchild that she's not met as well.
Yeah,
There.
yeah, yeah. Exactly.
Wow.
Let's not
Crazy.
bring Liam back though. By
Um,
the way, not if it's the last.
no,
Let's not bring that chavvy Liam.
not
That
the last
wasn't.
Liam that we had.
No, that wasn't the
Nah.
biggest success the show's ever done. Let's be honest.
So the only way of us seeing Cindy Junior really is if she did happen to come back to the square for something, which that's
Yeah,
the only way that we would have seen this reunion happen on screen, and we know that's not happening. So it's happening off
yeah.
screen
So what is
clearly.
going to happen now then? Like we're going to. Cindy's either going to return, and go, she didn't want to see me, or in the next couple of weeks we're going to get new promo pictures released of Cindy standing next to either Mimi Keene or a new actress playing Cindy Junior.
Interesting. Yeah, maybe she will come back. I don't think she's going to. I feel like they're just going to do it off screen because everyone's going, "What about Cindy Junior?" And then it's like,
Mm.
right, well, we've done that bit. It's fine. Every so often, she'll get a text message off her or go, "Oh, she's uploaded another picture on Instagram.
Yeah, and
Oh,
it's
doesn't she
sort of
look
like
nice?"
it's sort of a convenient thing for Michelle Collins to have a break every now and again. I'm just off to see Cindy Junior. See you later, and
And
then she
that.
can just go. She can just go
Mm,
and see. However, I also do think that there is no coincidence that we have a Cindy Junior and we are also still to meet a George Junior. Just the name Junior thing. I feel like there's got to be some connection there in some way. Like, why do George Junior and Cindy Junior? Now, I appreciate Cindy Junior was named when Cindy was still dead in the writers'
yeah.
heads. I get that. But George Jr. obviously is a newly created character who we've not met yet. So I wonder if there is going to be some sort of connection between the two, like it's a half brother. So no, it's not a half brother at all, is it? So, but it's two people that can meet
No.
with the
Yeah.
connection of Cindy and George. I mean, so
Yeah. Maybe George Junior has coincidentally met Cindy Junior in Germany for all we know, Rob, and
maybe we'll have to wait and see. But
we've
yeah,
seen Stranger Things.
I don't know if I'm too happy about the idea of Cindy meeting Cindy Junior off screen. I feel like that's quite a big moment that we should see, especially in Cindy's
I
history. It feels
agree.
like I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how that plays
But I
out.
don't think we're going to see it.
No, I
Don't
don't
think
think
we
we're
are
going to
going to
see
see
it.
it.
It
I think
seems
Cindy's gone now. She's already
unfortunate.
gone to see her.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, God knows how long Cindy's going to be off screen for, but yeah,
Has Peter gone with her, or was he just helping her with the
I
bags?
think he was just helping her with the bags. I think, but
Okay,
again, but yeah, because Peter's got stuff to be doing with Lauren and Penny and Louis and all
true.
that kind of thing, so he's got stuff
We're
to be
not
doing.
seeing much of Ian, are we? Ian's just a bit
Ian
popping
has
in and out of
always, yeah,
stuff at
but
the
Ian's
minute.
always been quite a good community character, and he's sort of filling that role again quite well. Like Ian, occasionally will get his own storyline, but he's always been that sort of character that sort of flits in and out of people's lives and irritates
I
some
still
and
think we could
amuses
see a bit
others.
more of him though since he's
Yeah,
been
yeah, yeah.
back. So hopefully he's got something coming
I
up.
feel like the stuff, but then again, like what I would also say is this stuff with George next week is presumably quite big. So surely Cindy would have a role in that somewhere on the way
Oh
because
yeah,
she
that's
knows stuff
true.
about
Yeah.
Eddie. So is she going to just be back next week? I don't know. Feels like next week's good.
Nah.
Feels like next week's big. I'm expecting big things for next week, so we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. Very exciting. Right then, ladies and gents, let's move on to the next story. The calf has finally reopened and it's had a lick of paint. What do we think of the new calf? Do you like the new calf?
No, I don't like it because it's
No,
Nish's.
it's Nish's. I tell you what, that neon sign feels so wrong, doesn't it? It feels like absolute sacrilege,
Gross.
that new sign. Yes.
So gross.
I quite like the interior. It doesn't feel quite so much as like an old London greasy spoon as it did, but I do quite like the interior. It's quite sort of modern, and it's not completely and utterly different to how it used to be. It's just had a lick of paint and a bit of redecorating. I think it's all right.
I think the interior they've done well actually to make it look kind of similar to it was before, but
but
a little bit different
updated
as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's 2024, Rob. We can't just be having all these,
Exactly. And I do feel
not that it was before, but
no, but I feel like the calf did need an update for sure. And it's had it. And it's had like one of those updates, like how when you update your iPhone and it's like there's stuff on it that you can't quite put your finger on, but it's definitely different.
yeah, that is different.
That is different, but I don't know why. Yeah. But Bernie's got a job back, and she's now the manager of the calf because no way is Nish going to stand behind the counter and fry bacon. And screw that, he says.
What about Marie? She's been there years. I can't believe they give manager role to Bernie straight away.
Well, do you know what Marie's problem is? She doesn't. She's a bit too quiet to be a manager. You need to be gobby to be a manager. Marie's very sort of quiet, but at least Marie has got her job back. So Marie and Bernie are now going to be the cafe empire because Nish isn't going to be there forever. We'll soon have that sign. I predict the last days of Nish will be that neon sign smashed on the ground, and that'll be the final dust
like flickering and then going.
Yeah, flickering. Yeah, that's a nice symbolic image, isn't it?
Have you noticed that the cafe's grown a bit as well? Like it seems
what do you think?
Way bigger. The kitchen
Maybe that's
seems massive.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, it's still the same size building, so I don't know whether
it's meant to be, but
yeah. The decoration maybe is sort of optical illusioned it out a little bit. They're sort of maybe widened the kitchen. Maybe the kitchen's been widened out a little bit, and they've sort of just worked with the space a bit better than how it used to be.
Of course, yeah, it must be that.
Must be that. But yeah, this all sort of leads into some worry for the Six because the cafe is about to be reopened, and Kat and Nish discover a leak on the floor. And you sort of think, oh my god, they're gonna have to rip up the floor and start again, and then Keanu's body is going to be discovered. The Six are in absolute turmoil about this. We'll discuss Linda in a minute because Linda completely and utterly falls off the wagon this week. Drives Denise mad again. She is hallucinating still. Sees Keanu in the mirror. That's quite an effective moment. Maybe jump. I don't know why, but the ghost of Keanu is scaring me quite a lot.
All that.
No, you're harder than me. But I like
Clearly,
the sound of train. There was the sound of the train effect. Then Keanu just staring at her in the mirror. It did make me jump. It's been very effective. I quite like this Scooby-Doo element to it. The ghost of Keanu Taylor haunting Denise. It's quite good. And then what's going to happen is Christmas Day. Keanu, it's going to turn out this is a physical manifestation of Keanu.
Oh, it's actually Keanu.
It's actually Keanu.
Right.
Who's apparently haunting Denise. But come Christmas Day, Keanu is going to be unmasked and Pastor Clayton's going to be underneath. And then he's going to say something. And then he's going to say, I could have got away with it. It wasn't for you meddling Six. That's how it's going to play out.
You know what? I won't bring it. Oh, yeah. Oh,
I would adore that.
With this Pastor Clayton.
Yeah. Pastor Clayton. I mean, yeah. So she goes and sees Pastor Clayton. Well, we're here. So she goes and sees Pastor Clayton because she obviously trying to see Lucas last week. It did no help whatsoever. In fact, if anything, it made Denise worse. But Pastor Clayton's just hanging around. Like, no Patrick this week, but like Pastor Clayton is just always hanging around Yolandi. Wherever Yolandi is, Pastor Clayton's there. They're sat there in the cafe together having a coffee. They're stood there together at the cafe reopening. He's just there at all times, and I don't trust him as far as I could throw a grand piano.
What if he actually saw the Six on Christmas Day or something?
Oh, maybe.
Secret?
There is something about him.
I doubt it.
No.
Yeah.
There is definitely something going on with him. He's not just an innocent pastor at all.
He's a bad guy.
He's a bad bit of pastor.
I sang that.
He's a bad pastor. I'm convinced of it.
Yeah, there's something off with him.
Something sinister.
Gotta be. Yes. He's like, I feel like maybe he just preys on vulnerable people because when he's trying to help Denise, it don't feel like he's. Oh God, yeah, it's full of him. He don't feel like he's trying to help Denise. it's like he's trying to get something out of her so that he could use it to his advantage almost. It don't feel genuine, does it? That he's just trying to help her and, unload on me and then I can use it against you somehow, whatever it is that's unsettling.
Why is he hanging around Yolandi so much as well? Like, what's going on there? Like, is he...
Well, maybe we were at Varney, you were like, something going on between them two.
Yeah, Denzel wasn't convinced either. Denzel doesn't like him, so I feel like we should trust Denzel's judgment on this. Yes. Let us know in the comment section.
Then Pastor Clayton were sticking up for Denzel, actually, weren't he?
Oh, well, he would do.
That's being a bit harsh.
Yeah, he would do, wouldn't he? He would do. Yeah. No, don't trust anything he says, let me tell you.
He's a wrong one.
He's a wrong one. Let us know in the comment section. What do you think the plan is for Pastor Clayton? Because he's had promo pictures released now and everything.
Oh,
so he's a character. He's an actual... He's not a guest character. Smack bang in the middle of the credits. He's got promo pictures. He is a character, and he will have a storyline at some point soon. And it's going to be a wrong storyline, in my opinion. Yes. I'm on to you, Clayton. I'm on to you, Clayton. Don't you worry about that. Right. Other than that, so Denise sort of... Because Denise nearly hands herself in. Once they sort of get the idea right, they're going to rip the floor of the cafe up. Keanu's going to be discovered at any moment. We're all doomed. Denise decides that she needs to hand herself in. She writes a letter to Jack. Suki then comes around and says, look, no, it's fine. Come here. It's okay. You don't need to hand yourself in. Let's not be ridiculous here.
Leak a toilet.
Leak a toilet. Everything's absolutely fine.
Talk about catastrophizing. Sorry, this leak on the floor.
Yeah, but you would, why
would that mean you've got a... Well, to be... No, with Nish, though, he's like, we're going to have to rip up the entire floor now. Like, what? Because
just Nish being dramatic. Yeah, Denise just being... Nish just being dramatic. Yeah. But Denise writes Jack a letter. Yeah, like basically apparently confessing everything. But again, I've never seen this before in my life, actually tore the letter up so it couldn't be read. That's never happened.
And see, to me, she didn't tear it up into tiny enough pieces. And
you wanted to go? You wanted to go for a shredder and then burn the small disintegrated pieces. Yeah. So you don't think that was enough? You don't think that was enough?
Well, usually in SERPs, if they're getting rid of something that's a document, they burn it in the kitchen sink, right?
Well, I was amazed. Yeah, that's true. I was amazed to see her tear it up to start with. I was like, oh, hang on, she's going to get rid of that letter.
Going to place it on the top of the bin.
Top of the bin, or it's going to be placed not very carefully in the bin, and Jack's going to find it, or Amy's going to find it, or someone's going to find it. But no, she proper tore it up. So I feel like that letter's done now.
Yeah, you're right, because unless someone had gone, oh, did I throw something in the bin by accident? Oh, let me just go and see if it's there. No! It's gone,
and then Denise sees Keanu standing over, like, doing the bins. All right, Denise, how you doing?
Like bin day tomorrow, isn't it?
Like bin day. I'll just take the weedy bin out. Cheers, Denise. See you later. Yeah, so, I mean, Denise isn't in a great space, so I wonder where this is going to go. She's still hallucinating Keanu. I mean, her and Jack are doomed as well. Let's be honest. That's never going to happen. Her and Stacey's affair continues this week. Naughty Stacey.
Was it this week? Was it on this week's?
Right at the start of the week. Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but how brazen are they being? Like,
how they're not being careful
in that Slater household.
I know, and I don't imagine. I don't want to put too fine a point on this here, but I don't imagine that Stacey's quiet. You know?
No, you're right.
I don't think she is.
Probably not. Probably not.
Doubt it. With a stallion like Jack, I think not.
It's blatant.
It's very blatant. Like, it's very blatant. Yeah, they're not being careful. They're not being careful. Yeah,
where like a million people.
Yeah, like 28 people live in that house, and she's sneaking men in the bathroom, like sneaking them out the next morning. No, that's going to get discovered any second, isn't it? Surely. Don't call me Shirley. So obviously the floor is fine. So the cafe reopening can recommence. Bernie then, once everyone's gathered around and Nish reveals his neon sign and very wrong. Bernie accidentally plays a voice note from Keanu, which sort of freaks all the six out. They all get instantly triggered. And then Karen arrives, all glammed up. 50 grand spent on a new outfit, like she's got like a Burberry bobble.
I noticed the Burberry. Do you know what? I thought whoever's on costume,
they did
good choice with the Burberry.
They did very well dressing up with Karen this week because she looked. She looked like a new version of herself, but exactly she looked like a posh chav rather than a not posh chav that she normally does. She
just looked like Bianca to me.
She did look exactly like Bianca. Yeah, she looked exactly like Bianca.
Straight away,
yeah.
With silver or gold leggings she had on.
Yeah. Those ridiculous boots she was wearing as well.
Yeah.
which we got a nice shot of when she was standing in the calf saying, "I ain't leaving this spot until I find out where Keanu is," which all the six are kind of like staring at her
right.
feet going,
I mean, are we just gonna casually just go, oh yeah, Karen came back for this week? Or
no, not at all.
What
Karen came
the
back this week.
actual? Like
Karen
she had a
came back this
Julius
week.
theme not that
She
long
did.
ago.
And now she's gone again.
Why did she just come back for a week?
Well,
what?
She came back to find Keanu because Keanu apparently was supposed to go and see her and then never arrived. So that sort of is the suspicion that she's got and why the six needed to deal with her. So I thought it was kind of natural for her to come back at some point because she'd be like, "Where the hell's Keanu? And what have you done to her?"
I'm sorry, but for me, a Julius theme is very.
Oh, that's it. Once you played that, you ain't allowed back. Yeah.
Well, no, at least not for at least a year. If you've had a Julius theme and
not like the week after
she had. Yeah,
to be fair, though,
a bit soon to have come back.
I don't know. To be fair, Lola's been appearing every other week ever since she left. She died.
Yeah, but so... from Beyond the Grey, you know, that is a bit different. Come on.
I know what you mean, but I kind of it made sense to me for her to come back for that last sort of scenes because she'd be like, "Where the hell is Keanu?" Like it felt weird that she had gone before Keanu even left anyway. So
it must just be me who's got an issue with the Julius
theme,
doubt because if that's been played, then you're gone, and I don't. I don't.
I understand. Yeah.
Come back to look for a son, but we're just like, why she come back when I thought that she'd left?
Yeah.
Then I was like, oh well, maybe the actress actually had until February in a contract, so they're like, right, you can have a break and then you can come back for your actual final scenes in February. I don't know.
You don't get you shouldn't get a Julius theme for a break. Absolutely not. I agree with you there. Like Julius theme, it should be quite final. However, in this instance, it did completely make sense to me that she was back just for this week. And I didn't think she was going to be back beyond the week either.
She did provide quite a few plot devices for the existing characters as well. So I understand it from that point.
And she got herself a final duff. She got herself a final duff as well throughout this week. Another duff. Yeah. She got that.
Yeah, another final duff.
You know,
I just don't get why she's come back after this. I just don't get why she's.
You don't you don't get what. Well, we know why she's back, but you just don't. You're just objecting to the fact that she got a Julius theme and then returned again.
Yeah,
well, it's the technicality of it that you're not happy with.
You could say that about Tiffany there, to be fair. I think that happened with her, didn't she?
Yeah, exactly that happened. Yeah, exactly that happened. Yeah.
Yeah, but didn't mind that, though. That were all right.
No, that was all right, was it?
That was okay by my standards, yeah.
But anyway, Karen is causing all sorts of trouble. She is asking awkward questions. She puts Linda on the spot, and Linda is in no fit state to be sort of harangued by Karen asking awkward questions. Kathy has to save her. And then Kathy kind of takes control of the situation. I really liked Kathy's role this week. I thought she did very, very well.
Oh, and I hated it.
Oh, go on then. You argue with me. What went wrong with Karen for you then? Go on.
No, not Karen. Kathy.
I
feel like Kathy's become a bit too much of a hard nut about all this Keanu stuff, and I understand it from one side because she's trying to protect herself and protect the other and protect the other five.
She's the mother.
But it's almost a bit out of character that she's so okay with this dead body being under.
I don't think she's okay with it. I don't think she's okay with the dead body because we noticed how bad she was at being interrogated by the police. All right, so
when it just happened, though.
Yeah, so but I think that I got that she was basically just being the mother of the group and sort of being protected, like she was doing what she would do to anybody. She was treating it like she would her own kids. I kind of got it, and I liked that she was sort of using her head a little bit because it kind of felt like Suki shouldn't be the only one that was in control of the whole situation.
You're right, but then I guess I'm just really disputing the entire storyline, really, that any of them are quite okay with this dead body, except for Denise, like that everyone's just getting on with a normal life. Like realistically, you won't be able to live with yourself, would you? If you just killed someone and buried them under a...
Denise is struggling, Linda's struggling, Stacey kind of took control, but then Stacey's been here before. This ain't Stacey's first rodeo, so Stacey was kind of semi-struggling,
Stacey's distracting herself, to be honest. By
Stacey's very distracted. Yeah. If she didn't have Jack, then she'd have more to think about. So yeah, there is that. Sharon's buggered off to Australia, so Sharon's fine. She's not an issue.
Well, we think she's fine.
I like how Kathy was so furious about Sharon this week, saying that they'd all been left behind to clear up her mess. So really, it was anything to do with Sharon that Keanu got killed in the first place. But other than the fact that Linda was trying to stop Keanu from killing her.
Anyway, well, like I said, we'll be here all day with me saying, you know what, they should have just ranked police on Christmas Day and gone, we've done it by accident, you know.
Where's the story there?
It was self-defense. There's marks around Sharon's neck where you can clearly see he's been trying to strangle her. We'll not even mention the fact that the Queen Vic don't have CCTV. Anyway, sorry, I'm going back in time to Christmas Day.
The Queen Vic can never have CCTV.
No,
otherwise, there is no story. There's no stories in the Vic whatsoever from that point onwards.
I'm not going to lie. You know, knowing about licensing issues, etc. There's no way that pub would still be open without CCTV. Okay, that'd be on their licensing conditions.
Soap pub.
You can only remain open.
No soap pub
the amount
has
of
CCTV.
Incidents that you've had in this venue over years. You need some CCTV.
Well,
you're not staying open.
No soap on earth has a pub with CCTV in it, to be fair.
No, I know.
Clubs do. The club's got CCTV, but the pub.
No, that's true. That is true. Yeah, Peggy's has CCTV, as we know.
Anyway, so Kathy, whether you like the fact that she took control of the situation or not, she kind of does, because Karen's going around asking all these awkward questions, and Kathy basically says to but first of all, she tries to ring the police on Karen, and Bernie sort of persuades her otherwise. So then her and Phil sort of work together because Phil decides that, right, well, screw the debt, I'll just take the Archers, thanks very much. Which again, Phil's quite happy just to lose 50 grand.
Well, to be fair, Archers is probably worth more than 50 grand, especially if Sharon owns it outright for a place like that in London. It's got to be worth more than 50 grand. 50,
yeah, maybe,
50K,
yeah.
50K.
50 G's. So Phil's basically got control of the Archers again, which he then gives to Ben. So Ben's basically
Sharon's agreed to this though.
Sharon's not got a clue.
No one's questioning why Kathy's.
Sharon hasn't got a clue. Yeah. Well, Kathy, I think, was just pleased to get rid of Karen. But Sharon's not got a clue about any of this. And in the end, Karen basically says, right, okay, I'll go. Everyone basically persuades Karen to leave it and disappear. And Keanu basically didn't want to be found. Otherwise, you'd know where he is by now. I'm sure he'll turn up one day, probably on a Christmas day sometime in the future. And then you can come back and deal with that. But until then, you go and live your life, Karen, in your Burberry scrunchy. Go and enjoy yourself. Go on, off you go. So Karen eventually does kind of sod off in the taxi and kind of hugs Bernie. Nice scene between Bernie and Karen, I thought. So Bernie's kind of left as the sole tailor with Felix, and is now manager of the cafe. So Bernie's all right. Bernie's got a nice job.
She's doing all right. She's in a nice house as well, living with Chelsea and Felix now. Yeah. She sorted, didn't she?
So meanwhile, Kat and Nish sort of pick themselves up again this week. We get some more from those two, and I have to say there was a really sinister undertone to Nish this week, because he buys well, for a start off, Kat tries to sort of start. So there's a great rivalry developing between Kat and Priya. I quite like this. But
I understand why that is actually.
Yeah. But there's a moment between Kat and Priya where Kat basically admonishes Priya for her attitude, and Nish turns around to her and goes, you don't need to get involved. If I want to talk to her, I'll talk to her. Thanks very much. And he'd just given Kat this coat. Now, you'll have noticed that the coat is literally a Suki coat, like something that something that Suki would wear. So is he sort
literally.
Was I kind of wondered if they were going down the route of he was basically going to try and turn Kat into Suki? Was that like start to try and do her hair differently and all that kind of thing?
He were trying to give her that more sophisticated look, but it was definitely like
a Suki coat.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe Suki got her style from Nish trying to control her all those years ago, and she's
more than likely,
that he picked out her coat, but it was very. She looked so weird in it, didn't she?
She did. It didn't look like Kat, did it? She was not, not a print, not a zebra print or a leopard print upon her.
Yeah.
It did look very odd. But I wonder whether we were supposed to really think of it as a Suki coat, because normally they didn't have Suki they didn't have Suki walk past her and go, "What are you doing with my coat?" Or anything like that. But I kind of thought that he was trying to sort of mold her into the new Suki. And I wondered whether we were then going to spend the rest of the week with him sort of manipulating her and sort of trying to change her behavior a little bit. But Kat kind of hates the coat instantly, which is fair enough, and then decides that she'd be better off trying to get back with Phil. But Karen puts pay to that when she tells Kat about the debt and the fact that she's in Karen's mind, that's worked out as Phil's forgetting the debt so that Sharon and Albie can come back and be in his life. And she kind of drops that into Kat's head, which means that Kat realizes that the trust between her and Phil has completely disappeared. So she ends up getting back with Nish because she had broken up with him, and Nish had reacted really badly to that and chucked her out of the flat. So why you would go back there, I do not know.
I don't know. I don't get that either, because what a week Kat and Nish had. Like, they started off great,
all over the place.
Then they split.
Yeah.
Then they're back to, then he kicks her out of flat with her 3 kids. And then, why would Kat go back there with him after he's just kicked him out like that? But he's a master manipulator, isn't he?
He is a master manipulator.
I was so angry. But even still, you'd be like, so angry that he just made me own worse. Come on.
Exactly. And also there was that moment where she was with Alfie and said to him that he was like the best man in her life right now. So I kind of feel that Alfie maybe kind of could have stepped up a little bit more, but obviously he's gone off on a holiday.
Yeah.
So I've got to sort of wonder, maybe is she going to end up back at Alfie's at some point, but because Alfie's not there at the moment, she's just going to stay with Nish, or what's going to go on there, really?
Well, I didn't get we didn't see that he's then given her the flat back, so I'm assuming that she's going to stay at Alfie's whilst he's away still. And then I don't know what she'll be doing after that, because maybe now she's going to go, well, I'm not going to live in your flat. If we're going to
I wondered if that's I wondered whether he's going to make her move into the Panesar's house.
No, surely not.
Because I want her and Priya warring over breakfast. I like the thing between her and Priya.
I think they've only got the beef so that we've got somebody that Nish can talk to about what he's actually scheming.
Oh, I see.
That's the only reason that Priya and Kat. Yeah, do you see what I mean?
That's very good, Priya. It's very good. Yeah, maybe. But I do like Priya's role in it, because Priya clearly thinks that Kat is absolute.
Priya.
Oh, Priya's amazing, and she clearly thinks that Kat is absolute trash.
Which is hilarious.
Which is great coming from Priya. So it's I like the fact that they clearly despise each other. So that's got the potential to sort of run even outside of this Nish thing. The
only thing I'll say about Priya is she witnessed how bad Nish was to Suki. So,
did she though? Did she actually witness it herself? Did she see what we saw?
On Christmas Day, like, he wouldn't let her leave the house, would he? And they were all ready to cut ties, and then Suki convinced them all when he were in the coma, right, go back.
Yeah, but then she kind of came across that situation as in, you're leaving him, are you? Oh, you're cheating on him, and like tried to take advantage of that situation anyway. So she wasn't that bothered about Nish.
Initially, but then it will actually have Suki's back. Oh, there'll be an episode name, and that's One Day Rob.
Initially, yes.
Yeah, and then she witnessed that on Christmas Day. I got the impression that she saw how controlling it'd been. But I guess if they're painting it that she doesn't get on with Kat, she'll not care that he's doing that to her.
I get the impression that Priya is sort of keeping Nish happy, and sort of because she stopped trying to sleep with him. So maybe that's why she stopped trying to sleep with him, and we've not really kind of focused on that yet. And Priya's kind of like, screw that. I'll just sort of take advantage of you and keep you happy. So me and Amani have got somewhere to live for now, and then I'll give any woman that kind of comes within your vicinity absolute hell, and I'll sort of be your little lapdog, and I'll sort of be your little sidekick in any scenario. She's got Janine vibes about her, I'm telling you.
She has 100. I agree with that, definitely. Yeah, very excited
about the future of Priya. So yeah, Kat and Nish are kind of back together by the end of the week. Although, are they back together though? Like, I kind of got the impression from Kat that she was sort of taking his olive branch because she didn't have many other options.
Well, he dressed it up as let's take it slow. We never really gave it a chance to take off. Maybe I got a bit carried away. So maybe they're just gonna, But what is his big plan with Kat then? Is it that he's just gonna try and take her 2 businesses? Like, there are other businesses for sale in London, Nish.
Yeah, I know, right?
You need the laundrette and the cab office that bad?
Well, I don't know, because I don't know if it is the business. It might be the businesses, because he Nish likes having an empire, so it might be that. But then I also wonder whether she's going to use, because when they first got together, we were sort of theorizing, all right, he's going to use Kat to kind of get him amongst the Slaters and cause Suki some problems.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I wonder if there's that element to it as well, and sort of cause some revenge between Suki and Eve as well.
I guess she's got a lot of uses.
She has got a lot of uses. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it could be.
We'll have to wait and see. Very, very. I hope Kat going forward has a bit more sort of awareness about what's going on, a bit more
like Kat, because she's not daft, and she's coming across as a bit daft, to be honest.
And this, Nish isn't the first Nish that she's ever met either, or come across. So I
feel like she's wizened to his character type by now, but she's not showing.
Yeah, I mean, you've surely got to bear in mind this guy was quite happy for me and my kids to be on the street just because I ended our relationship. That wasn't even a relationship.
Yeah. And I feel like she's seen a bit of that nasty streak to him. So yeah,
I hope so. I hope so. All right, we'll see where that plays out next week or in the coming weeks. Final story of the week, ladies and gents. We'll talk about Linda, who has fallen off the wagon, and a return of sausage. Final story of the week, ladies and gentlemen, is Linda, and my goodness me, is she in some turmoil and drinking lots and lots, drinking very heavily, and is basically a bit of a mess, isn't she? Really, Poor Linda. I mean, she is kind of getting over the fact that she snogged Alfie last week, which she instantly regrets. Kind of regrets. Does she fancy Alfie? What's her feelings towards Alfie at this moment, do you think?
She said he makes her feel safe, so I don't think she wants to lose him. And this is kind of what we were saying, they've got a good friendship. We don't want to ruin it. Like we said as well, she's not in the right space to be starting a relationship.
No, not
at
all.
I think it was a mistake.
But I wonder if she knows that as well.
I think she does, to be fair. I think she does. I think she regrets it, maybe the timing of it. Like in a current state is not the time to start kissing your best mate, is it? Let's be honest.
But Alfie seemed disappointed by that outcome, I thought.
Which is, I agree. Which is, I don't know, like, is now the time for you to be starting at Alfie when she's in the middle of, being an alcoholic? Probably
in
not.
the middle of being when she's in the middle of when she's in the middle of an alcoholic storyline.
I'm trying to think
relapse,
what it's called. Yeah,
when you're in the middle of a relapse storyline. When this storyline's finished, Linda, then we'll talk. All right.
Maybe we could. Yeah.
Maybe we'll talk.
But I think it was more that I think it's more when Linda were like, "Oh, it didn't mean anything."
Yeah, it's a bit harsh, a bit cold.
Right. Whereas if she'd not said that, it'd have probably been like, "We'll come back to this."
She'll have understood it. Yeah, we'll put a pin in this and then sort of move forward. But yeah, she was a bit sort of cold and sort of like, no, that didn't mean anything. That was bad. That was a mistake. No, we can't ever do that again.
It was actually because she was trying to say that's not what's bothering me. Compared to the fact that I've just killed and buried someone.
Yeah, that's small issue. That's snack in my life. Yeah. So Alfie wants to go on holiday this week because Alfie's treatment has apparently come to an end. Just talk about the whole of the cancer storyline for Alfie.
Is that it then? He ain't got cancer now.
Seems to be. Seems to basically be what they're telling us. Like his treatment has come to an end. Maybe it's just basically the message of the story was they caught it early enough, so men should get their prostates checked.
Possibly, yeah.
This is how easy it is then for the treatment. Well, not easy, but this is how the treatment can then be applied
and more effective if it's caught early enough. And
so maybe that was the story. But I think I was expecting it to be a bit more prominent in the telling of Alfie's story, basically.
Yeah, so, I know what you mean. Yeah, if that is the end of it, then a bit odd.
Not a non-event per se, but a little bit sort of.
I know what you're saying. Yeah,
not as prominent as I thought it was going to be, but I get it in the regard of just get your prostate checked, boys. That's what needs to happen there. Just pay attention to what's going on down there, and everything will be okay. Maybe it's a story
they'll probably like in the long run, maybe he'll have a few more accidents and things like that. But other than that, I don't see what they're really going to do with it. He'll have checkups.
Yeah,
just one of those things that they've decided to throw in or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. But he wants to go on holiday and wants Linda to go with him, and she's kind of like, yeah, that's a great idea. I'll do that. Yeah. And Stacey sort of points out to her, "Are you sure about that, Linda? Because you might get drunk and nearly tell him like you did last time. So should we not do that? Let's just stay with us, and we'll keep you on the straight and narrow, and everything will be fine." So I think Linda feels trapped. I think she feels sort of trapped by her own circumstances and trapped with the consequences of what she's done. And the only escape she has is just to get absolutely hammered all the time.
Well, do you know what? I actually thought Stacey and the 5, 6, whatever they're called, were a bit in the wrong. 5.5. We're a bit wrong on that this week because I actually thought she might be less of a liability if she went away for a bit and got away from the square.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, I think what they do is send Denise and Linda off on a cruise somewhere. They can just deal with the situation themselves.
On a boat, just them two.
Yeah,
on a boat
just those
together
two.
Or something.
They can. Denise can sit in the corner and hallucinate, and Linda can sit in the other corner and get pissed, and everything will be fine. And they'll sort each other. They'll sort each other out, and then they can come back, and everyone's a solid union. I think that would have been not a terrible idea, but I think they were worried that they were going to tell Alfie.
Yeah, she'll tell Alfie.
Yeah,
I get that, but I don't know. I think that I mean, then when she had that scene at the end of the week with Kathy and she was getting really loud when she was talking, I just feel like it might even be safer that the risk is that she nearly tells Alfie than telling the entire square, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, so Linda's response to that, naturally, is she just spent all week getting really, really drunk. It's sad to watch Linda in this state. It really is. Like, Kelly Bright plays drunk so well because you can instantly tell that when Linda's drunk, even if it's not the main focus of the scene. She does it so well.
You can even tell when like Linda's being a functioning alcoholic
that
she's drunk,
there's a big
because
difference.
that's how good Kelly is.
I remember when this story first started and she had the New Year's Eve episode. You know, that special New Year's Eve episode that was all focused on Linda being drunk. And Kelly Bright was telling how she went through the script and sort of color coded each section of the script on how drunk she had to act in each part. Like, this is a black section, so she can barely walk here. This is like blue, so she's a little bit drunk here. So I feel like she's maybe doing that with this as well.
Amazing.
Because there's very clear different levels of Linda being drunk that are coming across from her performance. It's so good the way that she does it. She sort of reminds me of how Steve McFadden does it when he does drunk acting. It's that level, isn't it? It's really, 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 really strong. But she's certainly at, let's call it, black level for most of the week. Throws up in the Albert. Felix must be so bored of chucking Linda out by this point.
How is she not barred from the Albert?
I mean, that would surely be the easiest thing to do, wouldn't it?
I wonder if Kathy's been like, don't bar her. She's going through a tough time, Felix.
Maybe.
You just ring me if she's in a bad way.
Maybe. Yeah. That works.
Just solved that one, haven't I?
There you go. You see, you're a genius. But Elaine starting to steps forward this week. We've always said how good a mum Elaine is. We've always said it. She gives Johnny a call. Or she gives someone a call. We're not quite sure who it is.
It was Johnny.
It was Johnny. And basically wants to arrange a family dinner because Linda keeps saying all week. And this is another kind of well-written part of this story, I think, is that Linda spends a little bit of time this week saying, "Oh, I'm going to quit drinking. No, I'm done drinking." And more than one character at one point goes, "Oh, right, yeah, good for you." Not believing her because obviously she isn't going to. And the fact that she's pissed when she's saying that to them as well.
Yeah.
It's really, really strong the way that they write the Linda's drunk story. And an interesting thing with Lauren this week as well. Lauren sort of steps forward.
Lauren's going to see those signs, isn't she? Because we all know that Lauren's had her time with the alcohol.
Do we all know that? Does Linda know that?
Didn't they have a conversation about it when she met Annie?
Maybe.
Did she have a conversation with her about it?
I feel like Linda must know.
Linda would know that.
I feel like Linda must know in some way. She must know. Because
Max, surely she had a relationship with Max. Surely that's come up.
Yeah, she must know because she worked. Because Lauren was around when Linda and Mick were working together quite happily in the Vic, and I presume that you would know the local alcoholics not to serve vodka to when they walk in. So yeah, she must know.
And when she's never ordering drinks, in the Vic as well. Yeah, she must know.
She must know. But again, there's some really nice stuff with Lauren this week. Like, she didn't judge her. She was just sort of like, "Look, Linda, you're clearly not in a state to be looking after her. I'll take Annie. You go and have a drink. All right, that's fine. But I'll look after Annie." So some nice moments
there. And Ollie, she offered to look after her birth, didn't she?
But Linda doesn't react well to help, and there was a moment with her and Kathy. Where Kathy, can we just have a brief moment to discuss how often Kathy is getting smacked at the moment?
Yeah, that's true, isn't it?
Since the Clenshaw era has begun, I was sort of trying to think about this, right? So she's got smacked by Cindy, she got smacked by Joe, she got smacked by Nish, now she's got smacked by Linda. I'm sure there's another one as well. Like, she's getting beaten up, is poor Kath. This is a woman.
You just said two of them that I'd not even remembered there.
This is a woman in her 70s. Yeah. It's great. Well, it's not great at all, but it's sort of like, poor Cass, give her a break. She's constantly sat there with like peas on her face. Like, oh, stop hitting me. I mean, to be fair, how good a whack can Linda give if she needs to stand there with an ice pack attached to her face?
Also, like the 6, the 5, as I'm going to keep
Five and a
calling him,
half.
the 5.5. They're not being very discreet with the conversations they keep having, are they? They're having them so often in public. They're getting a bit slack on this,
they need
aren't
to
they?
They need to start having their meetings back in the barrel store again. But then I suppose Linda's too much of a liability for them to do that at the moment. But yeah, they need to start being a little bit more subtle because Kathy and Linda are basically having a blazing row about the topic in the middle of a
literally
panic.
You killed Keanu, Linda. Like,
and then Linda smacks her.
Yeah.
And then wonders why everyone's going, you're right there. What's going on? Nothing. Nothing's fine. Nothing. Yes. So Elaine has rung somebody and wants to sort of bring the family back together. And by the end of the week, Linda is tottering around, so drunk she can barely stand, collapses in the street and sort of can't get up again, and suddenly finds a new man sitting in front of her, and the new man is a recast Johnny Carter. Johnny's back. Exciting.
Johnny's back. I felt so sorry, by the way, for Linda when she was stumbling around going,
yeah,
"Where's my mum?"
It's sad.
It's
really sad.
Yeah,
that was literally exactly what I used to do when I used to get lost in the supermarket when I was 8 years old. Mum, I'm looking for my mum. Where is my mum?
You know, it's like, because sometimes, let's be honest, right? Sometimes when you watch alcoholic storylines, sometimes you find it funny when they're drunk and they
Phil
say
was
things.
hilarious when he was drunk.
Phil was hilarious.
And to be fair, I have laughed at Linda drunk before because
This is what I'm saying.
Because she does turn into Nikki Graham when she's drunk as well, which I love.
Yeah, she does.
She really does.
But then you have these scenes where Felix is going, it's not even 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I felt so sad.
It's the sympathy that other people are giving her. It's not annoyance that people are giving Linda because they know Linda. This is a woman of the community. This is their landlady, and it's really sad for them to watch Linda disintegrate this much in front of them. So this is what I mean. I'm so strong the way they write the Linda story because it's just about watching this sort of sad breakdown of this woman that is strong and this woman who knows how to handle herself, but she can't do it. This is addiction, pure and simple. And I love that nobody's judging her really in the square. She might get like the odd jibe thrown at her every now and again, but that's just within the conversation and the context of that character.
The people judging her most are the 5.5, really.
Yeah.
Because they don't seem to have much sympathy for the fact that it's an addiction. I know they're seeing it as she's got a liability and she's more likely to say something, she's drunk.
Which she
is. Try and treat her with a bit more compassion rather than, you need to just stop drinking. Well, she knows that herself, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, with the return of Johnny, now Johnny is the only kid that's not directly dealt with Linda's alcoholism. Because Lee returns one day to find Linda kind of unconscious in the middle of the square. Nancy's obviously directly dealt with it. Johnny never has before, so this is going to be interesting to sort of see how Johnny deals with it, because arguably Linda and Johnny are the closest out of all of the kids sort of pairings, and Johnny presumably has come running as soon as Elaine sort of said there's an issue here, so you need to come.
Well, actually, no. Elaine said on the phone everything's fine.
Oh,
she didn't
that's
hint
true.
Anything, so that would have been such a bit.
Fine.
Everything's fine. Come and have some drinks on the ass. But Johnny, that would have been quite the surprise finding his mum.
So he will have no idea. I mean, presumably he does know that Linda's now an alcoholic. He must do.
Well, when we were just saying that, I was thinking, has he dealt with her off screen?
Maybe, but I don't think he's dealt with her at this level like the other two have.
No, maybe not.
So it's going to be interesting
to to Johnny. Now Alfie's gone.
Well,
is he going to be the new confidant?
Looking forward, I'm wondering where they're going to take Johnny, because if we remember Johnny as kind of quite a sweet boy, he's kind of like certainly the most mild-mannered out of all the Carters.
Yeah.
Moving forwards, and we're kind of into spoiler territory here for next week, but he has a confrontation with Dean, and
I've seen that.
Yes, in fact, confrontation to the point where he punches Dean. And it's been said by the new actor Charlie Suff, Nina. It's been said by the new actor Charlie Suff that Johnny has grown up and is now not to be messed with. Now, I hope that they haven't removed that really kind of sweet side to Johnny, and sort of they've still kind of got that.
Entirely, it sounds
like he comes back as basically the new Ben. You know what I mean? I don't want that to sort of be Johnny.
I know what you're saying. Maybe we're just going to see. Hopefully, we'll see why he does why he doesn't. I mean, he's so close to his mum and he's seeing what state she's in.
Yeah.
He's assuming that it's all because of Dean. Right now, he doesn't know anything about Christmas Day and the Keanu stuff. So, yeah, maybe he's just being super defensive for his mum. But I guess we'll have to see, won't we? Because
we'll have to see. And he's also a full-on lawyer now, apparently. And his costume in future episodes is literally greys. Like he's dressed as grey in future episodes.
Yeah.
He's got the scarf, he's got the suit. He is literally grey in some outfits. So hopefully there's some distinguishing between the two of them.
Dean must rile him up to punch him though, because surely it's risky business for a lawyer to go around.
There is that.
Committing assault.
Yeah, because lawyers never do that in EastEnders, do they?
Well, no, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll have to wait. I'm looking forward to it.
The Johnny that we used to know, he wouldn't risk something like that if he was a lawyer, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I'm intrigued to see what Johnny's going to bring to the mix. Obviously, new actor. You sort of whether the show likes to admit it or not, a new actor tends to mean a bit of a new character as well. Let's be honest. It's a refresh, isn't it? It's going to happen. Of course, it is, because the betrayal is going to be different. So, and an old actor playing it would deliver dialogue in a different way to the way a new actor would play it. But it's about how the character is then written moving forwards. So, I'm really intrigued to sort of see what the plan is with Johnny, because arguably Johnny hasn't really worked that well in the writer's room before. Otherwise, he would have been a bit more of a long-running character. I know that Sam Strike left the role quite quickly, because he got the impression that Johnny wasn't really going to be doing very much. And then obviously Ted Riley came to the role, and Ted Riley's Johnny didn't really do that much either, other than sleep with Ben and sort of be there as a supporting character in some way. So Johnny, apart from that really iconic, memorable scene where he came out to Mick, has never actually been that much of a big character in the grand scheme of things. So I'm sort of wondering what the plan is with Johnny, and sort of, are they giving him that extra grit because he needed to have that extra grit in terms.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens next week. But Johnny's back next week, and obviously the big stuff with the Knights is going to be next week. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. Very, very exciting. Gold star this week, Ree?
It's going to be Linda for me, because I think Kelly Bright is doing such a good job playing a drunk. So yeah, for me it's Linda.
Fair play. I'm going to give. I know you disagree. I think I'm going to have to give mine to Kathy then in that case.
No, that's fair. No, it's not that I disagree. It's just the whole, would she react like that with a dead body? But then that's a whole storyline.
She's mothering them. She's being the mother. She's stepping up, and her mothering instincts are coming into play. That's what's happened there.
No, I do get that. It's just, for me, I can't imagine them all being that calm about a dead body that they've buried. But
it's been months now. They've gotten over it.
Yeah, it's happened.
Yeah, it's gone on there. Right then, ladies and gents, final segment of the podcast, as usual, is comments from you lovely people.
So starting with a comment we've had on our Instagram page, Rob. I've got one from Bob Barnes, actor, who says, in relation to Karen, while I think it shows realism for her to come back, I do just think it should have been left at her Julia's theme exit. Although saying that, people would have been wondering where she was in all of this.
There you go. So that's covered both of our points beautifully, hasn't it? Covered both of them beautifully. There you go. Thank you, Bob. That's sorted out our argument.
At least someone agrees with the Julius theme there. That's why I picked that one, because for me that feels quite final. But
absolutely. Yeah. But then he also does agree that it would have felt weird if she hadn't have come back. So yeah, maybe. But then I thought the Julius theme worked really well where they put it. It would have been a bit. But then, could you reckon they could have done it this week? Because then the Julius theme also was for Mitch, wasn't it? And it was also
that's what I was just thinking.
Yeah, it was for the Taylors really as a whole, minus Bernie. So I think it was a good place to put it.
Yeah, because if Mitch had come back with Karen this week, then all the kids would have had to come back with Phil might have been a bit nastier towards Mitch. So, okay.
There you go. We've got another comment from Joanne Smith, who says, regarding our discussion about Pastor Clayton last week, you got me on something now, Rob, about Pastor Clayton. He could be George's dad, if not Lucas's dad. Now, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? That'd be a twist.
Oh, George's dad.
Now, I wonder then, because that sort of reminds me of how they brought Danielle in. Because we knew that something was going on about Ronnie, and then they brought Danielle in as sort of apparently part of another storyline, and then it was revealed that she was very much connected to Ronnie. So maybe they're doing a similar sort of thing with Pastor Clayton, if that's the case.
Possibly. That'd be, possibly. Although, did anyone... I feel like I saw somebody mention it, and then I thought that'd be quite interesting, whether Yolandi could be George's mum. I doubt it, but
that kind of
conversation she had with Whitney.
Yeah, that
what
was
if she
did
have a child and gave them up?
Yeah, but then I think I think she would have told Whitney there and then I had a kid and then I gave her up. I think that would have been would have been the conversation to have that and sort of reveal that about Yolandi, I think.
Okay. So another comment about Pastor Clayton from our Facebook group from Stephen Brody, who said, I've seen a lot of this from viewers, but to me he just seems like a nice guy, and I really hope that is the case. I really want a couple more characters that are just doing the job and interacting with the plot when necessary, like Dr. Legg. His constant presence I had put down to giving Yolandi something to do, while Rudolph Walker can have a less busy schedule.
There is that, I mean, there is this possibility, of course, that EastEnders viewers are a cynical and suspicious bunch. We know, and we all, whenever anybody new comes around, we're like,
we've been here before.
They're a bad person. They've murdered. They've killed. They have. So there is that possibility that Pastor Clayton just literally is just a nice person, and Yolandi is an excellent judge of character.
And giving Rudolph Walker a break, that actually seems quite a logical reason for why. So that Yolanda's got somebody to talk to.
Maybe.
Yeah, still think there's a wrong end.
It could be. You could be absolutely right, Stephen. But I do. You could. You're perfectly right, and we could still be talking come December. I'm waiting for him. Pastor Clayton has done nothing wrong throughout the entire year. He's still a wrong one, isn't he? He's still a wrong, and I'm waiting for him to trip up any day now. There we are then. So we'll have to wait and see how let us know in the comments section what you think about Pastor Clayton. Where do you think his story is going? Do you think we should be suspicious, or do you think he's a nice person? Let us know. And you can do that by doing the following.
You can find us on Facebook at Albert Square After Dark, on Instagram and Twitter at E20 After Dark. Like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, Albert Square After Dark, and find us on all your favourite podcast sites. Drop us an email at e20afterdarkpodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to buy us a coffee, you can do so by going on buymeacoffee.com/E20 After Dark.
Boom. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. Next week, it seems that it might be a big one, and I can't wait to discuss it. I'm really, really, really excited to find out what's going on with this George Knight story. Ooh, go on.
Also, Rob, sorry, can we mention it'll be a day late next week, the podcast?
Yes, indeed. Because Ree's got stuff on. So yes, it's very possible that next week might be uploaded on the Sunday, but we will let you know online if that is the case. But as of this moment, it's very likely that next week will be uploaded on the Sunday instead of the Saturday. So you've been warned, right? And this will decide who's still listening up to this. This will decide who's still listening at this point, won't they?
Yes, that's true. Yeah. We told you.
We'll know the dedicated ones from this point onwards, won't we? But yes, so we will see you at some point next weekend. Until then, it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Bye. See you later.
Bye.